Today, we're going to talk about a story of incredible scientific progress. You see, for decades, cerebral palsy was a condition really defined by waiting. But now, a whole wave of new science is completely rewriting that story. And it's transforming diagnosis, treatment, and really what's possible for millions of people. Okay, so let's just get on the same page. What are we talking about here? Cerebral palsy, or CP, is at its very core a disorder of movement and posture. It's caused by an injury to the brain while it's still developing, so before, during, or even shortly after birth. And it is a lifelong condition. For the longest time, the journey for families was just filled with so much uncertainty. A child might be showing some developmental delays, but getting a definite diagnosis, that often didn't happen for a year and a half, sometimes even longer. And that meant this long, anxious period of waiting and watching, while a really crucial window for intervention was often just slipping by.
But that entire narrative, it is changing. And I mean it's changing fast. Over the last decade or so, a revolution in how we understand CP has completely flipped the script. We've gone from a story of passive waiting to one of proactive, early action.
So let's dig into this challenge a little more. You know, while CP is a lifelong condition, the way we approach it, right from the very beginning, has been fundamentally altered. And it all kicks off with one thing: the diagnosis. Just look at the difference here. This is what's so incredible. We've gone from an average diagnosis age of 19 months all the way down to as early as 3 months old. I mean, think about that. That is more than a year of precious, precious time reclaimed during the most critical period of a baby's brain development. This isn't just a small improvement, it is a total game changer. So you're probably asking, how is a massive leap like that even possible? Well, it's all thanks to what's really a diagnostic revolution, a new set of tools that lets doctors see the signs of CP with incredible accuracy, long before a child would have ever been diagnosed in the past. So this new toolkit has 3 main parts. First up, you've got a brain MRI, which can literally show any injury to the brain's motor pathways. Second, there's something called the General Movements Assessment, or GMA. This is where experts analyze video of a baby's spontaneous movements, their little wiggles and kicks. The quality of those movements can be super predictive. And third, there's the Hammersmith Infant Neurological Examination, which is basically a standardized physical exam to score an infant's neurological function. And get this, when you put all 3 of those tools together, they have a 98% sensitivity for detecting cerebral palsy. 98%. What that means is we're taking all the guesswork out of the equation. We can give families definitive answers way, way earlier than ever before. Okay, so we've got an early, accurate diagnosis. Now what? What does that unlock? Well, it opens the door to a whole new era of early intervention, one that's tailored to treatments that we actually know work. If you look at this overview, you can see what I mean. An early diagnosis isn't just about starting some therapy a bit sooner. No, it's about launching a structured, evidence-based care pathway. It's like giving families a clear roadmap, a coordinated plan that pulls in the right specialists and the right therapies to tackle not just motor skills, but all the other health conditions that can come along with CP. And that is such a critical point. CP is very rarely just about movement. I mean, as this chart shows, 3 out of every 4 people with CP experience chronic pain. Half have an intellectual disability. A third are dealing with hip displacement. So managing CP really means managing a whole person's health. And getting that diagnosis early lets that comprehensive care start right away. And all this leads to a much more effective way of treating it. We now basically have a green light list of therapies that have been proven to work. So, for example, if the goal is improving hand use, we know that things like constraint-induced movement therapy and bimanual training are super effective. For self-care, there's a therapy called co-op. The whole new approach is about targeting specific goals with interventions that we have evidence for. But of course, the journey doesn't just stop in childhood. A huge part of this new understanding is taking the long view, recognizing the unique health challenges and the opportunities that come with navigating adulthood with CP. And wow, this slide really brings that adult's experience into sharp focus. Research now shows us very clearly that adults with CP have a much higher risk for other chronic conditions. We're talking over twice the risk for stroke and heart disease, and a staggering 6 times higher risk for osteoporosis compared to everybody else. But here's the hopeful part. Knowing about these risks allows for proactive management. The focus is shifting to lifelong wellness strategies, things like strength training to hold on to mobility, regular screening for those chronic conditions, and actively managing pain and fatigue. It's a huge shift from just reacting to problems to actually preventing decline. So all of this brings us to the horizon, to the absolute cutting edge of the research. The pace of discovery is just getting faster and faster, and it's pointing towards a future that looks even more promising. And this right here, this is huge. What once sounded like science fiction is now becoming a reality. A major meta-analysis, that's a study of many studies, so it's very high-quality evidence, found with high certainty that umbilical cord blood therapy, which is a type of stem cell therapy, isn't just safe. It actually produces clinically meaningful improvements in motor function, especially for younger kids. Regenerative medicine is officially part of the toolkit.
So think about where we've been. We've gone from a 19-month diagnosis to a 3-month diagnosis, from uncertain therapies to a clear list of what actually works, and from theory to the real-world use of regenerative medicine. The bottom line is this: the story of cerebral palsy is no longer one of waiting. It's a story of remarkable, tangible progress, which of course leaves us with one very exciting question. What's next?